The year was 1984. The place Mecklenburg Correctional Center, a fortress of brick and steel holding Virginia's most dangerous criminals. The night was quiet, the guards lulled into a false sense of security. Then it happened. 6 inmates, shadows in the darkness, vanished into the night. They left behind a scene of chaos, guards bound, sirens wailing, and a community plunged into fear. The great 1984 Mecklenburg prison break had begun. News of the escape spread like wildfire, igniting a firestorm of questions. How could this happen? Who were these men daring enough to challenge the iron grip of the law? The escapees, all convicted of violent crimes, became the subject of a massive manhunt. The clock was ticking, and every second counted. Law enforcement agencies from across the state mobilized, their ranks bolstered by the FBI. Roadblocks choked the highways, helicopters scoured the terrain from above, their searchlights piercing the darkness. A palpable tension gripped the region as citizens locked their doors, their minds haunted by the faces of the fugitives plastered across newspapers and television screens. The escape had become a race against time, a desperate battle between those sworn to uphold the law and those determined to outrun it. At the heart of this audacious escape were the Briley brothers, James and Linwood. Their names were already etched in infamy, whispered with a mix of fear and morbid fascination. The brothers had a reputation for ruthlessness, their past littered with a string of violent crimes that had terrorized the region. They were the architects of the escape, their minds honed to exploit weakness and manipulate those around them. The other escapees formed a motley crew of hardened criminals. Earl Clanton, a convicted murderer out on parole, had tasted freedom only to throw it away, his life a testament to bad choices and a penchant for violence. Lem Tuggle, Willie Jones, and Derek Peterson each carried their own burdens of guilt, their rap sheets a litany of robbery, assault, and murder. These 6 men, bound together by circumstance and a shared thirst for freedom, had plotted their escape with meticulous care. They studied the prison's routines, identified security flaws, and exploited every opportunity to gather information. They were like wolves circling a campfire, their eyes gleaming with cunning and desperation. They knew the risks, knew that failure meant a life sentence within the unforgiving walls of Mecklenburg, yet they clung to the hope of freedom, a hope fueled by desperation and a reckless disregard for the consequences. The escape plan was a testament to the inmates' audacity and their keen understanding of human nature. They knew that Mecklenburg, for all its imposing facade, was not impenetrable. Like any fortress, it had its weaknesses, chinks in its armor waiting to be exploited. The inmates targeted the prison's blind spots, those moments in the daily routine when vigilance waned and complacency set in. They used a smuggled phone, a lifeline to the outside world, to impersonate prison officials, their voices dripping with authority as they manipulated unsuspecting guards. They staged distractions, creating diversions to draw attention away from their true objective. The inmates understood that their escape hinged on timing and a healthy dose of luck. They waited for the perfect moment, a confluence of events that would tip the scales in their favor. And then, on that fateful night, they made their move. With a mix of cunning and brute force, they overpowered their guards, their movements swift and silent, their actions fueled by adrenaline and desperation. Section 4. A taste of freedom. The outside world greeted them with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. The night air, no longer heavy with the stench of sweat and despair, held the promise of freedom. But their liberty was a fragile thing, a stolen moment in the relentless march of time. They were hunted men, their faces plastered on wanted posters across the state. The escapees scattered, melting into the shadows, their movements dictated by instinct and the urgent need to stay one step ahead of the law. They stole cars, their path marked by a trail of abandoned vehicles, each one a testament to their desperation. They moved under the cover of darkness, avoiding contact with the outside world, their only companions the gnawing fear of capture and the faint flicker of hope. For a brief time, they lived on the edge of a knife, their senses heightened, their every action dictated by survival. They tasted freedom, felt the wind in their hair, and knew the intoxicating allure of life beyond bars. But their freedom was a stolen treasure, a fleeting moment of joy in a life shrouded in darkness. The long arm of the law was closing in, its grip tightening with each passing hour. The manhunt was far from over. Section 5. The net tightens. The authorities were relentless, their search intensifying with every lead. Roadblocks were set up and the countryside was combed with a fine-toothed comb. Helicopters hovered overhead, their searchlights piercing the darkness while dogs tracked their scent through forests and fields. The escapees, once confident in their ability to evade capture, now found themselves cornered. Their options dwindled, and the walls began to close in. Each passing day brought them closer to the inevitable, the tightening grip of justice closing in on their fleeting freedom. The net was tightening, and there was nowhere left to run. Section 6. Justice Prevails. The end came swiftly, a stark contrast to the days of tension and uncertainty. One by one, the escapees were captured, their dreams of freedom shattered. The law had prevailed, its relentless pursuit ending in the inevitable capture of the fugitives. The men, once symbols of defiance, were now reminders of the inescapable reach of justice. Their brief taste of freedom was over, replaced by the cold reality of their return to confinement. The manhunt had ended, and the scales of justice were balanced once more. Section 7. Lessons Learned. The story of the escapees served as a stark reminder of the thin line between freedom and captivity. It highlighted the lengths to which individuals will go to reclaim their liberty and the relentless force of justice that stands in their way. The lessons learned were clear. Freedom is a precious yet fragile thing, and the pursuit of it fraught with peril. The escapees' journey, though brief, left an indelible mark on the annals of history, a testament to the enduring human spirit and the unyielding arm of the law.